military industrial complex. The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist.
Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves.
That the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Fear itself. Fear itself. Fear itself. Where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
We shall fight with growing confidence and growing strength in the air. We shall never surrender.
My prepper brothers and sisters, you've arrived at the bunker. Grab a cup of joe, a stout tea, or maybe your favorite adult beverage. This is the prepper's place for open discussion on whatever the hell we want. Brought to you whatever the hell way we want. This is the new format of Top's Bunker. So sit down, kick back, post up, relax, and welcome to the bunker.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. Military industrial complex.
And we as a people will get to the promised land.
We will make America strong again, proud again, safe again. We will make America great again.
Preppers, survivalists, off-gridders, homesteaders, and the like. Welcome to Top's Bunker, a podcast for preppers. Leave a voicemail to get on the show, speakpipe.com/tops, or use the live message option on our Facebook group, Top's Bunker. Email us at shtf@topsbunker.com. Visit our site, topsbunker.com. I want to thank you all for joining us. We got a great show for you tonight. Rhonda and Buddy join me to discuss pest management while you're bugging out deep in the woods or hiking the trail, enjoying the park, or even in your own backyard or outdoor spaces. There are a lot of critters out there, many of which can be carrying dangerous and sometimes deadly infectious diseases. As preppers and survivalists, homesteaders, and hobby farmers, we tend to spend a lot of time in nature, outdoors. We could be training for a bug-out scenario, tending our raised beds and gardens, or just having a nice walk with the dog. These activities will often put us in direct contact with insects that want to take a bite of us, sometimes without us even knowing that we've been bitten. This is not an ideal situation to be in, especially if you're bugging out to a secure location in the woods during an SHTF event. Many of these bugs, like ticks, carry highly infectious diseases like Lyme disease and alpha-gal syndrome, both of which have no cure. We'll talk about these threats, how to identify the specific symptoms, and how to protect yourself going forward. We'll also talk about pests in your garden, how to ID them and deter them from showing up in the first place. So, let's get to it. They move pretty fast too. I picked it up, I had it in my hand, and I couldn't even. It was like crawling around my hand. Super fast.
You already got bugs and stuff?
Oh yeah, we're getting there.
Wow. What's the weather there today?
I think it's in the like 70s. Yeah, but we had like 80 a couple days ago. So
Yeah, we're supposed to get 90 something tomorrow. It's going to hit 100 in parts of the state. So not looking forward to that shit at all.
Hell no. All right, so tonight we're going to be talking about we're going to be talking about pests and pest management and pest awareness, different things like that. I think a lot of it's going to be coming from Rhonda.
Howdy.
Hooray, yay.
Yep. So, and she wants to talk about some tick-borne diseases and things like that. So I've got in front of me the CDC. It says tick-borne diseases are illnesses transmitted to humans through the bite of infected ticks. That's the key, is infected ticks, not all ticks, infected ticks. These diseases can be caused by bacteria, viruses, or parasites, and include conditions like Lyme disease, anaplasmosis, auriculosis. How do you say that? Ehrlichiosis, babesiosis, Powassan virus disease, Rocky Mountain spotted fever, and others. Lyme disease is probably one of the most popular, not popular, but one of the most prevalent ones that are out there. It's a bacteria infection, often causing like flu symptoms and potentially affecting the nervous system, heart, liver, eyes, and joints. Lyme disease is one of those things that you can't get rid of, by the way. Once you get it, you get it, and you can manage it and you can take stuff for it, but you're always going to have it. There's a lot of them that are like that. The anaplasmosis is a bacteria disease transmitted by the black-legged tick, which can cause fever, headaches, muscle pain, and fatigue. The auriculosis is another bacterial disease also transmitted by the black-legged tick, with symptoms similar to anaplasmosis. Babesiosis. It looks like babesiosis, but it's like babesiosis, how it's pronounced. It's a protozoan infection that can cause fevers, chills, headaches, and fatigue. The Powassan virus disease is a viral infection transmitted by ticks in the Northeast and Upper Midwest, which can cause a potentially serious encephalitis. Did I say that right?
Brain swelling.
Oh, damn, that would suck. Rocky Mountain spotted fever, which I got last year from a tick, and really screwed me up. Serious bacterial disease transmitted by American dog ticks, Rocky Mountain wood ticks, the brown dog tick, and brown dog ticks, often causing fever, headache, rash, and abdominal pain. I had really high fevers, headaches, and I was sleepy. I don't remember any abdominal pain, but you know what? The way Rhonda cooks, I always have abdominal pain. So,
hey,
tularemia, did I say it right? Tularemia, a bacterial disease caused by Francisella tularensis, which can cause fever, lethargy, and other symptoms. And heartland virus disease, a tick-borne viral infection that can cause fever, fatigue, and other symptoms. And last but definitely not least, because it's probably the number one out there, is the alpha-gal syndrome. It's a condition triggered by a bite from an infected tick, causing a reaction to meat, particularly red meat. And Rhonda's going to be talking about some of that tonight. She has a stat from about Africa that just blew me away. She'll get into that in a minute. Here's some important notes that the CDC says. Early detection and treatment are crucial for managing tick-borne diseases. Taking precautions to avoid tick bites, such as wearing protective clothing and using insect repellent, is essential. And if you suspect a tick-borne illness, consult a healthcare professional for diagnosis and treatment immediately. And that is really the key to it. If you live in any place where there are ticks, and by the way, ticks are everywhere in the United States, and I would assume all over the world. I didn't look. I didn't check other countries. I would assume it's the same in other places, but people say, well, the deer ticks, those are only on the East Coast. That's crap. They're not. They're everywhere. And the Lone Star tick, which has nothing to do with Texas, it's called that because it has a white dot on its back, so it looks like the Lone Star flag type of deal. That's why it was named. Actually started in New England and worked its way down through the East Coast and then out, west. And we Rhonda says something about California having less issues with ticks than other areas. Now, that could be a climate thing. I don't really know. But ticks are everywhere, from coast to coast, from north to south. They're all over the place. If you're going to go in the woods, if you're going to practice your survival skills and, you're going to build that shelter and you're going to lay down those leaves, you are laying down with ticks. Period. End of discussion. They are there. Now, whether you get bit, that's another thing. And whether or not they're going to transmit a disease to you is a whole nother thing. But you should know these things before you take on those types of training. So there you go. You can go way, way deep into it. But if you think that you are immune from ticks or other stinging things, you're not. So Rhonda, take it away and let us know what you got going on.
Okay. I'm not going to get too deep into the scientific part of it because it's very complicated. But I will tell you, alpha-gal stands for galactose alpha-1,3 galactose, which is a disaccharide or a sugar molecule that all mammals carry except for old world monkeys, apes, and humans. The reason people become sensitive to this after they get bitten by a Lone Star tick that's carrying it is because their body develops a reaction to it. It recognizes it as a foreign body somehow. When you get the alpha gal molecule in your body from a tick, it sort of wakes up your immune system. And then when you eat mammal or come in contact with mammal products, your body, your immune system sees that and recognizes it as something that's not supposed to be there.
So it's actually an allergy.
It is an allergy.
Okay.
I think alpha gal is a very misunderstood allergy because if you've ever heard anything about it, you've probably heard that it's a red meat allergy. And that's just like a very small part of it. It's so much bigger than that. And everyone is different. So some people may be able to eat pork and not get sick, where other people can't eat anything related to pork, like even the casing on a sausage.
I've heard of people that can't even wear leather on their skin.
Or wool, or even, I mean, some people can be so sensitive that they can't even be around the fumes if someone's barbecuing. And when I say that, I don't mean that they just feel bad or think it's gross. I mean, they get very sick and even go into anaphylactic shock and have to have a EpiPen. Like it's a serious thing. Well, fortunately, we weren't eating a lot of red meat, not very frequently anyway, when this came about.
We're a chicken and turkey family.
Yeah, steak was a once in a while treat. But most of the symptoms I was having, I didn't know that I was sick with that. I was just having a lot more arthritis pain. I was having trouble bending down on my knees, and standing back up. My bones were aching. My muscles were aching. And this was all random. It wasn't all at the same time. It was come and go. And then I was having cognitive symptoms with my memory and being confused. And I don't know if you can even remember. At some points, I could barely form a sentence because I just couldn't think. And it got so bad, I had to talk to my boss at work about it. All of that is caused by reactions to different things. And some of the things that you can react to are not just meat and organs of mammals, but dairy products, anything made from mammals like gelatin, glycerin. There's drugs. Most of the medications that come in capsules have gelatin capsules. There's just so much you don't even think about. All your household products, your bath soaps, laundry soap, lotions, anything in your house, if you start reading it, it's got some kind of mammal products in it.
Yeah, and what about the gums, like the guar gums and all that kind of stuff? That's also...
So that's a whole nother side of it, because that's not a mammal product, and neither is carrageenan, which is a red seaweed. Both of those are used in a lot of foods as thickeners or different, for texture of food. And they're not mammals, but they carry a alpha gal epitope or something. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, but it causes the sensitivity the same way as a mammal product does.
Right.
So I was drinking almond milk and, oat milk thinking I'm staying away from dairy, and it was causing, unbeknownst to me, it was causing me to just ache constantly.
Because it had the guar gum or one of those kind of gums in it.
Yeah. So now we make our own oat milk and rice milk, and I don't have that problem. One thing that I thought was interesting, though, is there's not a lot of awareness about it, but it is actually the number one trigger of anaphylaxis, which is the severe reaction where your throat swells and you can't breathe, and it's deadly. If you don't get to a hospital in time or have an EpiPen, it can kill you. Alpha-gal is the number one trigger amongst all the anaphylaxis cases where they were able to determine a cause. So sometimes they can't figure out why somebody had a reaction. But in all the times that they did figure it out, alpha-gal was the number one cause. The number of alpha-gal anaphylaxis cases is more than all the other food allergies combined. Think about that, peanuts and whatever. So it's around the world. It's all over the world, with Africa having 76% of their population carrying alpha-gal syndrome.
76.
76, almost
76.
everybody.
So that's almost 8 out of every 10 people have alpha-gal syndrome.
That's crazy to think about.
Yeah.
And it's mostly in Kenya. That's the densest population.
And I know it sounds like we're trying to make it a big deal, but trust me when I tell you, we're an alpha-gal family. It is a very big deal. You have to check every single label of every single thing that you eat across the board.
Like when Keith told me he liked alpha-gals, I don't think this is what you meant.
Yeah, no, not at all. But I can tell you, if I'm making my coffee and I'm using milk, which I don't always, but if I'm using milk, you can't even use the same spoon in my milk to stir her coffee if she puts something in it. It's that crazy.
South America is pretty heavy with it, with 37% of their population, mostly in Ecuador. And for the U.S., Virginia is the state that has the most alpha-gal cases, 26%. And the way that is spreading across the U.S., it is all the way to the West Coast now, but it's becoming more and more prevalent towards the West as time goes on. It just keeps spreading.
Well, like Lyme disease is the number one tick-borne disease out there. They're saying that alpha-gal will surpass Lyme disease as the number one tick-borne disease in the U.S. sometime in the next couple of years. I think that it's going to get so bad that it's going to be talked about all the time. There's going to be super centers on it. There's going to be doctors, working on this kind of stuff. It's going to be that big of a deal.
Well, they did just pass a thing to where now it's classified in such a way that money can be put towards it for research. But the reason I wanted to have this episode and talk about this is because of how long I felt bad and had no idea what was going on. And most people are that way, almost everybody. All the diagnoses of alpha-gal syndrome, for the most part, are patient-driven, meaning the patient is the one that finally says, can you test me for tick diseases?
Right. And that's the key right there, because they won't. If you go you think if you get a blood test, they're checking for alpha-gal? No, they're not. They're not checking for any of
Here's
that.
the thing. They were checking me. I asked them to check me for Rocky Mountain spotted fever because that's what Keith had. And they came back with ehrlichiosis and alpha-gal, two totally different things.
And the only reason why they checked me was because I asked them to. Like yes. I had my regular blood test. Like when you go to the doctor, you get a blood check and they check your cholesterol, all that. They didn't mention anything about anything. And then I went and told them, I said, look, I got bit by a lot of ticks recently. Can you check for some stuff? And they were like, oh yeah. So they drew blood that day and they called back and said, well, no Lyme disease. However, you got Rocky Mountain spotted fever. And I was like, oh, well, that explains a lot.
So one of the other things I wanted to mention is that the delay in reaction is another thing that sets it apart from other allergies. You don't react immediately. It could be as little as 2 hours later. It could be 10 hours later in the middle of the night. So a lot of times you get sick, you don't really associate it with what you ate 10 hours ago. And the reactions are so inconsistent that it's, some people can eat ice cream one day and the next day they're puking from it. So I was trying to figure out a pattern to it, and there is no pattern. It's just random.
Yeah, and the symptoms are so varied. There's so many different symptoms out there, from like your bones aching to, being tired to being
itching
nauseous,
all over. Oh my God.
Itching, scratching, which is a whole other thing. Toilet paper. There's certain types you can't use.
Don't get me started on my butthole.
Paper. Nasty. Buddy, are you still with us?
Yeah. I'm taking us all in, and I think Jeremy got the crown taken from him for the.
Jeremy no longer wears the crown for the.
He no longer wears the crown for the podcast. It went there.
Right, it went there.
For our listeners in Australia, and I wanted to mention the types of ticks that carry the alpha-gal vary around the world, but the one in Australia is the paralysis tick. If you ever heard of that, it causes people to actually become paralyzed.
I don't like that, man. Australia's got I don't want to go there.
I know.
They got spiders that'll kill you. They got snakes that'll kill you. They got birds that'll kill you. They probably got leaves that'll kill you. Everything's down there wants to kill you.
Feels that
Scary.
way. If anyone's interested in the more scientific part of all this, I'm going to recommend another podcast for you called This Podcast Will Kill You. It's two ladies that are researchers, scientists. They describe everything in a way that even I could understand most of it. But they also talk about, the prehistoric times and where this came from. So it's pretty interesting.
What I don't like about alpha-gal is that there is no treatment for it at all.
Well, now there is
There's pills you can take for alpha-gal?
no, there's no pills, but there's
no treatment then.
sort of a controversial treatment, I guess.
Oh, the acupuncture.
Acupuncture. They stick them in your ear and they tape them down and leave them on there for 3 days.
What?
Supposedly, it causes the alpha-gal to go into remission and doesn't make it go away.
So you're supposed to look like Pinhead for 3 days?
Yeah.
It's messed up.
Well, some people swear by it, and I have no idea how much it costs, but it's iffy if it's even going to do anything for you.
Yeah, I'm pretty much talked out of it, so I don't want that.
I don't want to go on about it all night, but I do think it's important for people to be aware of it. And especially if you have children that are feeling bad all the time, you might need to get them checked.
Right.
Children have a harder time describing what's wrong with them. The other thing to keep in mind if you do live in areas with ticks is if you get bit a second time or a third time, every additional time you get bit by an infected tick, it multiplies your sensitivity and makes it worse. So it's really important to take the prevention seriously, which I didn't. Last summer I was out sitting in the grass in shorts and flip-flops, and this is what I get. I did it to myself.
Every single day. Why are you not wearing shoes? Why are you not wearing pants? You'd be out there like almost half naked, like working on the, and the ticks are in the grass.
Isn't that the whole point of moving to the country? You can wear what you want to wear.
That is definitely the point. Yep.
Go outside and pee on the porch. I mean,
Exactly.
do whatever.
Yeah. So when you go out, make sure you're spraying the DEET on your clothing. I don't know if I'd put it on my skin, but put it on your boots and your pants. You want to make sure your pants are tucked in. You're wearing long sleeves. These things, by the way, Lone Star ticks are I don't know if they're the fastest ticks in the world, but I think they are. They can go from your head, or I'm sorry, from your foot to your head in like 10 seconds or something. It's crazy.
Damn, like little race cars.
Yeah. I got to find that statistic.
Well, that one that was in my hand today that got on me when I was in the bathroom in the basement. It moved quick. It circled my entire hand within like seconds. It was moving. It was really.
How big are those? Are they real small? The
one that was on my hand was tiny, man. I mean, we're talking like a 16th of an inch. Tiny.
I'm glad you brought that up, because another thing I read somewhere was that the tiny, what do they call the little baby
Deer
ticks?
ticks?
No, the baby ones, not the larvae, but they have a name for the small ticks, but they're so tiny you can barely even tell it's a tick. It's like a dot of sand.
Huh.
Supposedly those are the worst ones to watch out for, I guess, because you don't even know they're on you.
Yeah, I've had a couple of those on me. You can't tell. It looks like a speck of dirt on your skin. You can barely even see it. I need reading glasses to find it. So, and I've never really had those on me. I've seen them on you, but not on me. I usually get the big ones. I'm a big guy. I get big ticks.
The first time I found one of those on me, I scraped it off and put it on the sink, and I was like, what the f is that? And I had to get my phone and take a picture and zoom in, and it was a damn tick. It even had legs.
I thought the deer ticks were the ones that were super tiny. But
Well, they probably all are. Nymphs. They're called nymphs.
Huh.
Do you guys have chiggers up there?
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people mistake these for chiggers when they get on you around your ankles.
But Buddy,
But we do have
can you
chiggers.
see chiggers?
I don't know. I'm thinking back to, it was last fall. Me and a friend of mine were out testing some ammo that we loaded for a customer, and we both came in. We were just covered with what looked like little ticks, I thought they were chiggers because you could see them,
Mm-hmm.
and they burrowed in like a chigger would, and they were fast. So I'm wondering if they weren't ticks.
They're probably ticks, because I don't think you can see.
You can, but they're red. I think they're noticeably red.
We were just in tall grass. There wasn't, on the outskirts of the of the field there was cedar trees. So maybe, I don't know, but we weren't really close to any trees. So I don't
It's
know.
the one thing that surprised me about ticks is that they're not, everybody thinks of ticks as being in the trees. Most of them are in the grass, and like they love wood piles, anything that's woody, like mulch, you know, and grass. They're all over the grass. Now they are in the trees too, but the grass is where they mainly are.
And they run for you. They come after you. Most ticks don't do that. The Lone Star tick can sense, you know, where their prey is at, and they literally come after you like a zombie.
Wow.
They need to survive. They blood. That's what they need.
So the last thing I want to mention is there's actually clothing that you can buy that has permethrin in it. I don't know how I feel about that, but their website says that, you know, they have all these endorsements by all these health agencies and stuff. But somehow the fabric that the clothes are made out of is treated with permethrin, and it's there for the life of the clothing. And you can also send your own clothes in and have them permethrin treated for a certain, you know, number of dollars per piece.
Buddy, didn't you say that you guys were using that in the military?
Yeah, we had most of our clothing was treated for permethrin, but the way I remember it, it was only good for so many washings. And I mean, we used to take our clothes before we knew we were going to the field. We would take our uniforms, one set, and because that's what we just wore one set out in the field, so you didn't ruin the rest of them, and spray it with DEET, and seemed to work real well, you know. And they say, well, don't spray DEET on your skin, but you know, you're out there and it's hot and you're sweating, you got that DEET, you know, close rubbing on your skin from the clothing, it's going to get on you. So
Oh,
I don't know.
I
I
know.
mean,
I've eaten enough DEET to probably kill all the ticks in our yard.
are you glowing in the dark?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know, do you want to die from cancer? Or do you want to die from Lyme disease or something? You know, pick your poison, I guess.
Yeah, I spray the tick spray all over me. I spray it on my skin. I drench it down. It is what I don't want to get. I just don't want stuff crawling on me. I don't like spiders, and I think ticks look just like them. I don't want them.
Yeah, I was at Tractor Supply last night, and this is the time of year where every time I go in Tractor Supply, which is like once or twice a week, I'll grab a 2-pack of Off or some kind of bug spray. And,
Yeah.
Because I mean, we go through that like crazy.
No, almost all of that has DEETs, doesn't it?
The good stuff does, yeah. I mean, you can get the non-DEET versions, all natural. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how well that stuff works, but
Rhonda, you should mention, you know, what you're doing as far as like our laundry and all the other things you've been doing.
So I've learned how to make a lot of things at home because it's such a pain in the ass to go through the store and read all the ingredients. I've found a recipe online to make homemade laundry detergent, and it smells awesome, and it's working just fine. I think it's awesome. So easy to make, so cheap. Definitely going to keep doing that.
Yeah, you made like a 5-gallon bucket, like a half of it.
Yeah, half of a 5-gallon bucket that's going to last forever. It only takes 3 tablespoons per load. And there's a recipe to make liquid also, if you prefer liquid. I haven't done that yet, but I plan to.
are you going to throw that in the show notes?
Yes. And we're actually thinking about making a video of it to post too. But yes, I'll definitely put the recipe in the show notes, as well as the homemade oat milk and rice milk, which I think.
Oh, it's awesome. I love it. I think it's great.
Yeah, it works. You know, I can't use cream in my coffee anymore, but oat milk works.
Oh, that wow.
Yeah. And that's the other thing, because when I heard about the beef allergy, I was like the same way. I was like, who cares? I'm still going to eat beef. No. I went to a restaurant with my brother, and I ordered quail because I can eat fowl. And I was so sick the next morning, I couldn't even hardly stand up. It was the worst I think I've ever felt.
And it was probably because of cross-contamination on the grill,
Exactly.
right?
That's exactly. Or the other thing is the chips may have been cooked in lard. I forgot to ask them what kind of oil they used.
It's amazing. There's so much stuff that it's just crazy.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned quail. I started, last night I started deep diving. have an opportunity to get some quail. And I thought, okay, let's, I've looked into it before and I started deep diving it last night. And people who are allergic to eggs, like regular chicken eggs, quail, a lot of those people can eat the quail eggs. Now it takes about 4-to-1. I think it's the actual thing is 3-to-1 for normal.
Oh, because they're tiny, right?
Yeah, they're real tiny, but the quail produce more eggs in a day. So how a chicken might produce 1 egg a day, they're producing up to 4 or 5 a day, depending on the species of chicken or whatever. So or quail. So I thought that was kind of interesting, but maybe it was a cross contamination there.
Yeah, and Rhonda ordered a shit ton of guinea hens. And chickens too. We got a lot more. I have to build a whole nother coop now.
There goes all your ticks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell them that. Tell them that, Keith.
Yeah, 1,000. One guinea hen can eat 1,000 ticks in one day, or does eat 1,000 ticks in one day. Their eyes and their brains, they're designed to hunt them down, seek them out, and eat them right off the grass, right off the ground, off anything. They're amazing.
Do you like peace and quiet? Do you like to hear the wind blowing through the trees?
No, we like the animals. We have no problem. We got loud chickens right now. We got 21 chickens and they are loud. We lost one. We had 22. We lost one. We don't know where it went. Just disappeared. I'm pretty sure a hawk or something, got it. But yeah, they're loud. So it's all right.
We're getting 8 more chicks to go with the guinea keats, so that the guineas can get used to. They'll be raised with these little chicks and get used to the chickens, because what I heard was most of the time guineas will pick on chickens.
They're bullies. Yeah, they're bullies to chickens. Yeah. But if you raise them with alongside baby chickens, then they are less likely to be, to bully them.
We'll see.
Yeah, they're pretty good for your home security. They're pretty good.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
For early warning device there. They work real well with that. So.
Yeah, and we'll do an episode on guineas once we get them and all that, because it's one of them things, that if you're going to do a homestead or anything like that, you want to have something like that. You might want to have something like that.
Well, your gateway drug is always chickens, and then guineas and quail and ducks come next, and geese. And
we ain't doing ducks. I've already thought about it. They're smelly, and you got to have the pond or the water or whatever. It's just nasty. I ain't doing all that.
All right, I found out how many washings for the insect shield. It says up to 70 washings. And insectshield.com is the name of the place that does that.
I've had a dog that was diagnosed with hip dysplasia, and how older dogs will, they're real fast to diagnose with hip dysplasia, and nothing was really lining up with that diagnosis. So I started, being skeptical and diving into it a little bit, and I honestly think that my dog got Lyme disease, because a lot of the symptoms will line up with the Lyme disease diagnosis more than it does the regular hip dysplasia, because where the dog was on a farm in East Texas, and a lot of ticks and a lot of the things out there. So that's something to look at when, if you start having a dog that, maybe is limping around a little bit, and you pull ticks off of it. Could be Lyme disease.
I didn't know they can get Lyme disease.
Apparently they can. So some to look at.
Same for ehrlichiosis, which can cause organ failure if you don't get treated for it, and that's carried by, or dogs can catch that. Oh,
okay.
Which
so tick medicine is good. You got to get their medicine.
Yeah, so, treating this time of year, you treat your dog. So everybody remember that, you start changing the time, you start changing, which sparks you to change your 9-volt batteries if you're still using them on your fire alarms or your CO2 detectors and stuff. And
well, our pets can't tell us when they're sick, when they're, they can only show signs of it. And we bought a whole bottle of, big old deal of permethrin. We're going to be doing our bath for our chickens this weekend.
Oh,
so each one of them is going to get a bath in permethrin laced water, and that you do that every 6 months, and it helps with mites and fleas and different things that lice that chickens get. We got a couple of chickens that don't look. They got their little feathers picked off of them, and we're pretty sure they've got some mites or whatever crawling on them.
It's a whole thing, man.
It is, yeah. You're going to have farm animals. You got to be able to take care of them.
People treat their chickens better than they do their kids. Dogs and chickens. That's a great segue for what I'm going to talk about here.
Well, I was trying to get fit, taking my strolls out past the field full of cattle's a mooing, and I felt a little bitty pinch in my left butt cheek. Didn't think much about it, a bug bit me. Then a couple weeks later, took my baby on a date down to Bowling Green to have a couple steaks. Well, next thing you know, I'd swelled up like a grape. And the doctor said, son, got some real bad news. You allergic to beef, pork, and venison too. I said, now, doc, you must be as high as a kite. Life without brisket don't seem right. Now I can't eat meat no more. No sausage, no bacon, no steaks, oh Lord. That Lone Star curse got me feeling sore. Now it's turkey burgers forevermore. Told my buddies, they laughed real hard. They said, that's what y'all get for taking naps in the yard. A man wasn't supposed to exercise at all. Now sit your ass down and eat your coleslaw. My wife said, honey, don't you worry none. I fixed you up some chicken and beans for one. I said, darling, that ain't the same. Without barbecue, life has lost its flame. And I tried to sneak a bite of a T-bone steak. And I woke up feeling like that was a damn big mistake. Now I can't eat meat no more. No ribs, no bacon, no burgers, oh Lord. That Lone Star curse got me feeling sore. Now it's air-fried salmon patties galore. Tried veggie burger, man, what a joke. Them soy-based patties nearly made me choke. Now I'm grilling up turkey, but it ain't the same. I can't even say the word beef without getting some pains. And now I'm the guy at the barbecue stand, eating grilled squash with water bottle in hand. I guess its name was karma, 'cause it bit me in the ass. But I'd fist fight that tick if I knew where he was at. 'Cause I can't eat no sausage, no bacon, no steaks, oh Lord. That Lone Star curse got me feeling sore. It's turkey burgers forevermore. Give me some damn chicken wings and some hot sauce or something. Damn.
The seasons are changing now, and you're out there. You're starting to get outside more. You're starting to enjoy the nice weather. And along with the nicer weather comes the critters we don't like. And I think this whole episode is about how our lives can change by just those insects around us. So you're not going to eradicate your insects that are around you, but maybe you'll help keep them away, kind of repel them a little bit. So there's all kinds of techniques, and everybody uses citronella candles for the mosquitoes and stuff. But I'm just going to talk about a few plants that you might think about planting around your, maybe around your porch or around your garden, around the places that you're going to spend time, that might help with just repelling these. Mainly it's the mosquitoes, but it helps with the other critters too, the bugs. So
yeah, that's good. We need that information around here.
In thinking about insects and pest is what a lot of people call them. They call it pest management for a reason. There's no such thing as really a pest eradication, unless you just can't do it. You can't swing your bat. You can't get a big enough bat to kill them all. So you basically want to manage them is what you want to do. So, with a lot, like I said, there's a lot of plants out there that can help you do this in your garden. So one of the things that I love in my garden, and I'll put it in borders, I'll put it all around different plants, is marigolds. They look good. You can smell them, and they help mitigate a lot of the different harmful insects that would get to your plants and chew on them. And also it helps keep mosquitoes away. Most of the stuff I'm going to talk about is going to help with the mosquitoes. So, and kind of peeling back the onion on what kind of plants will help with the mosquitoes. Anything that has oils in it. So, you've heard of essential oils that people use. A lot of those plants that have the oils in it that they take the essential oils from, your plants that are aromatic, your plants that are heavy in oils are going to do this for you. So it's just a companion plant you can plant around, keep them on your porch maybe. So when you sit there at night and do what you do, put them in your garden, and it's just going to help. Thyme is one of them. Any of your herbs that you would normally plant for cooking or eating with or adding to your food that puts off an aromatic scent will help repel the bugs. We like the smell of them. You might not like marigold so much. I don't, but lavenders is one that comes to mind where you love the smell of lavender. Well, the insects hate it. So a good place to put lavender is places like the, entryways of your house underneath windows that might, be open. You might have a screen on your window, but it seems like the mosquitoes somehow find their way inside your house, and 3 o'clock in the morning, they're buzzing around your head. So look for, those aromatic, lavender is one of the great ones you can put in an entryway. Lemongrass is another great one that puts off a nice scent, especially when it starts blowing in the breeze. And man, most of your mosquitoes and a lot of your different insects absolutely hate it. So it's a good technique to use. Lemon thyme is another product or a plant that's out there that is aromatic and highly used.
I've never heard of that one.
Either.
Well, it's one of the things they use in DEET in your centennial candles. So they crush it up, put it in boiling water with different things, and they take the oils. It's very heavy on the oil side. So if you
I love lemongrass. Is lemongrass easy to grow?
It's fairly easy to grow. It doesn't like a lot of water, and that's where you get, your mosquitoes come from stagnant water. And that's another technique to keep the mosquitoes away is, you got places that hold water. You want to, try to keep that place from holding water. You overwater in your garden, you get busy and you walk out and, 3 hours later you go back and there's water standing there and it's going to stand all night. Well, those type of places will bring on the mosquitoes. So if you do have a place that holds water, you want to use some of these plants to help eradicate, keep the mosquitoes away from that water, which in the water, they're going to lay their eggs, they're going to reproduce, and they're going to do all the things that mosquitoes do. So, all right, mint, which is something you really don't want in your garden because it's so invasive that it'll take over. But I mean, put them in a pot throughout your garden is another technique to use mint. I wish somebody would have told me that a long time ago because, man, I was throwing mint everywhere. I love the smell of it. I'll make my own mint tea with it. I'll throw mint in different, teas or drinks or whatever. But man, when it's all over the garden, it'll take over. So watch your mint. But it's another good oily type plant that's going to help eradicate some of the mosquitoes and some of the other pests that will get in there in your garden. Rosemary is another good one. Everybody likes the smell of rosemary. Nice little purple flowers on it usually. Heavy in the oils.
I love rosemary.
Yeah.
I put the rosemary in our bread when I'm making homemade bread. Just pops the flavor. It's really good.
Yeah. Love rosemary. For some reason, I always overwater it and then it dries out. So I don't know. It's something it's like cactus for me. I can't grow cactus for whatever reason, but it is what it is. So catnip is another oily plant that is great, and it not only keeps away mosquitoes, but flies, deer, ticks, and cockroaches.
Really?
So another thing, if you look at the ingredients for DEET, you might find some of these things in there, especially if they advertise it as like an organic DEET product, so or DEET alternative. So also something called alliums, which is basically your garlic plants. They're nice and beautiful. It looks like a lollipop on top. It's like a purple ball or a pink ball or white ball or whatever.
Can you spell that garlic thing for me?
Alliums, alliums.
Oh, okay. I think I've seen that.
It's in the garlic family. Now I have them throughout my garden. I was given a garlic chive plant is what it was given to me as. So it just looks like an ornamental grass.
Oh my God, they're beautiful.
Towards the end of the season, they produce the flower, and it grows up on a stem. It'll get 3-4 feet tall, and it'll have the flower on them. And then it'll go to seed, and that's a good time to cut it off and save them. I've cut these and gone out into the just wilderness, stick them in a Ziploc, go in the wilderness, and just throw them out there, and they're starting to grow wild now. So that's kind of cool. It's another good one to use. Everybody likes chrysanthemums, and it's another one that will keep the mosquitoes away. So you can use those underneath, your windows, in your flower beds. I like them. All right, now I'll totally butcher this name. I've been using them for years. I don't know how to say it. Nasturtiums. Yeah, nasturtium. Okay, great. They're awesome to put in with your in your garden. Just periodically sticking them out there with your marigolds, because they keep away some of the bad pests from your garden. Also, mosquitoes hate them. Your white flies, your squash bugs, aphids, cabbage loopers, beetles, all kinds of things. Just they cannot stand them. So
is that the one that the little tiny moths hate?
I think yes.
There's some kind of little moths that were flying around our garden last year, and I think that's why I bought these nasturtiums that we have.
I can't remember the name of that moth, but it looks like it would be harmless, and it just wreaks havoc on everything. I'll think of it here in a second. So there's another one called a floss flower. I have never seen these, never used them. They're in growing zones 2 through 11, so I should have seen them. It's more of an ornamental plant. It just has a chemical in them that repels mosquitoes, and they absolutely hate it. And you can get them in pink and blue and white. They bloom in the late summer to fall in most of the growing zone. It's a nice looking flower. I'm going to look into them. Bee balm. Everybody's heard of bee balm before. It's another one that brings in the good insects to combat the bad insects. So it's also a good one for cross-pollination for your plants. A lot of people stick wildflowers out in their garden to help with the bees to come in and pollinate a lot of the different plants that need pollination. So it's a good one. All right, basil. Who would have known basil was a good one? Insects hate basil, and a good place to put basil along with your tomato plants. I've been doing this for years with the marigolds. So I'll put a basil plant and a marigold in there. And for some reason, my tomatoes taste a little, I don't know. It's like you can take a slicer, like a big boy or a beef steak or something, and they have a citrusy flavor to it. Maybe some marigolds. I don't know. And then I'll end with sage. Not only something you sage your house for all the evil spirits that come through. You can use a sage in your garden. You can smoke your garden. If it's not going to last that long, but it will help out if you're overran by mosquitoes. You can take some sage, make a smudging with it, and then go out and take it out there with you and wave it around a little bit. It'll keep the mosquitoes off. So also the sage plant is good to plant in your ornamental gardens. Doesn't look bad. It gives you some depth and some different colors. Also helps with your pest management. That's the biggest ones that I use and I've used in the past. There's more out there. These are the big ones, though. And there's a few in there I haven't used, but I thought I'd honorable mention them.
We have some of these already, but now I have some more to go get.
Where are we getting those from?
The Getting Place.
The Getting Place.
Well, a lot of them you can plant from seed. Some of them you can plant from seed early in the season and transplant them. But most of them just like the seed, just throw the seed down there. It's good to mix in with your wildflowers, throw them out there throughout your garden. So it gives it a nice look too. I mean, most of them seem to have bright colors. It'll give your garden some different colors and different looks and stuff.
I saw that picture you sent, Rhonda. Which one was it?
That was the alliums.
Oh, wow. That is some flower right there.
Isn't it pretty?
Yeah.
Man, they really are. I actually have some by a pool. It's an ornamental grass. About August, it really does its thing. And everybody always comments on it. It's like, wow, that's beautiful. What is it? And I was like, it's garlic chives. And I'm like, what? I go up there and eat some. And so people are like, oh my God, it does taste like garlic. I said, it's garlic chives. I mean, that's all it is.
So would you say that marigolds are probably the number one thing that people can get, just put on their patio, porch, front porch, whatever?
Man, it's the easiest one.
And they're cheap too.
Cheap. You can get them all over the place. I prefer the the giant, what do they call them? I don't know. I call it a giant head marigold. You got the smaller marigolds, but you got the ones with the bigger heads on them. And the cool thing about marigolds is at the end of the season, when you get your first frost, they die off, and you can deadhead them. Basically, take the flowering part off, lay them out and dry them. You just put them in the garage on a piece of paper or whatever it is.
Really?
Let them dry out for a couple months, and then next season, just go out there and sprinkle them in your garden, and they'll start doing their thing. They're very hardy. They smell good. They look good.
I grew up with my grandmother growing lantana. Have you heard of that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's really pretty, but it repels mosquitoes too. I think it might be kind of citrusy.
Man, I was actually down last weekend in Canton, Texas, and they had a lot of lantana down there. Matter of fact, we might have picked some up.
So good for mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Nice. And
looking at this a couple of years ago, we sit around the pool in the summertime and do what we do, what grown-ups do. And it seems like, the last couple of years, we've added a lot of these different things to our, potted plants around this area, the porch area, or we got a little arbor thing that, we'll set under and stuff. And it seems like planting a lot of the stuff has cut down on our use for, spraying ourselves with off, which, I hate the feeling of that. It gets greasy and you smell bad and stuff. So it's helped out a lot with that. It seems like we've been using less of it. So.
And I wanted to ask a question about a specific pest that you may have had experience with, if that's all right.
Okay. Yeah.
Those Asian beetles that are red and black, and they look just like a ladybug, except they're shaped different. So they're red and they have black spots on their back.
Okay, so yeah, they're the false ladybug ones.
Yes,
they're the bad ones. Okay, so yeah, they look like a ladybug.
Have you had those in your garden?
Oh yeah. I've actually bought ladybugs to put in my garden before, and this is what they sent. They sent those.
Oh, I was so pissed off.
What?
Yeah, they are not good. It's an invasive species. They're wood boring, but man, they will get in.
They were all over our plants.
Yeah, they can be, it says here, yellow, orange, or red color. When you put them next to a ladybug, you can tell the difference, but you don't know if they're on their own. So it's kind of hard to actually identify them.
One's called the ladybug and one's called the lady beetle. The lady beetle is the bad one.
Yeah.
Asian lady beetle.
Yeah, it's an Asian beetle. It's got different terms.
But you have to be able to identify them because they're bad for your garden, man.
So a pro tip on identifying your plants, there's 1,000 different apps out there that you can use on your phone. And some of them identify them correctly, some don't. So you got to kind of watch. And, like you're going to buy anything else, you go on the Amazon, you look at it and you're like, okay, you read the reviews on it. Want to zoom in as much as you can to take the picture, all right, and then upload it to the site. But if you want to do something better, every county in the United States has an extension office that's assigned to that county. And like in my area, Oklahoma State University is the ag college that is assigned to us. So you can take a picture of that. You can go on like I would go on Oklahoma State County Extension office, and they have an email address. You can email them with that picture, and they can identify it. And these are master gardeners that work this, or extension agents, and they're trained in this, and they can give you all kinds of fact sheets on it, different techniques of how to eradicate them and stuff. And those are subject matter experts on them. So that's just a tip you can use for these. I don't always like to use the plant identifier apps or the pest management apps or whatever, because sometimes you're not getting the right species. You don't know how to tackle the problem until you know what the problem is. So, and it takes a little longer for the ag extension office to get back to you, but it's usually within a couple of days.
That's good to know. Yeah.
I had these black aphids in a little grow tin I had, and it seemed like they were eating up all my tomato and pepper plants. Well, I'm like, hey, send it to the extension agent buddy of mine. I was like, hey, what the hell is this? He goes, oh, you got aphids, man. You got black aphids. And I'm like, well, what does that mean? He goes, you need to throw all of those away. I go, well, I got over 300 pepper plants in here. And he goes, well,
Oh my God.
you can either throw them away or you can go buy ladybugs, and hopefully they'll eat them up before they all die. So I was like, okay, I'll start over.
So the ladybugs will eat the aphids?
This specific kind will. You can order praying mantis. You can order ladybugs. You can order. I think the praying mantis is a larvae, and you can hang them up in a tree, and all of a sudden it'll hatch, and then they'll do their thing out there. And ladybugs, you can buy 1,000 ladybugs and then go out to your garden and throw them out there.
As long as you get the real ones.
The real ones. And then another time I went and bought 2,500, I think, to put on the garden. Well, then my damn brother-in-law came through and sprayed.
Oh, man.
Killed them all. I was so pissed off. But I mean, I was telling him not to spray around the garden. It's too windy and stuff. And he kept away for the most part. But the wind, they got wind drift to come in.
Right.
When you're spraying to kill weeds out in around your garden stuff,
not very organic, man.
Not organic at all.
Nope.
And then you're, you got a nice lawn that you can putt off of, but you're going to eat all those chemicals.
My prepper brothers and sisters, from tiny terrors like the black-legged deer tick and the Lone Star tick, to the life-altering gut punch diseases like alpha-gal and Lyme, babesiosis, and anaplasmosis can pack and deal to our lives. If you take one thing away from today's episode, let it be this: just because a threat is small does not mean it isn't deadly. Out in the bush or in the yard, it's not always the big things that'll get us. It's often what we don't see coming that'll take us out of the fight for survival. Situational awareness dictates that we pay attention to our surroundings and prepare ourselves for any threats that may be lurking. Prevention is important. Knowledge is key. Stay prepped, stay happy. Thanks for listening, and good night.